better. You've just got a backup now from west of the Merrimack to about Bulls, then it's opening up southbound 141, Helfrich down into Valley Park, so that's a little bit better as well. Southbound 55, midway down from M toward Highway Z, a couple of slow spots. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64, passing 70 to Exchange is slow. Westbound 55-70 from 255, most of the way to 111 is heavy, and eastbound 64 backs up east of 157 to 159. Next update at 5:20 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Traffic and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, great to be with you on a Friday on Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley is back. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good to see you. Good to be back.
I'm still here. I'm Kevin. But you know that. I'm telling the people out there. Yeah. And no Bernie tonight. Normally, we all work together on Fridays. Bernie has had a busy week. We've taxed Bernie a lot this week. So we'll be back to our normal Monday, Friday thing starting next week, where we get the three amigos together. It's been a while since the three of us because I went out of town for a Friday last Friday. So it's been a little bit. And I'm looking forward to getting us back together. But Bernie's gotten some deserved rest because he did Gas House every day this week, and he's been on with DGS and popping on. So it well-deserved. We were texting with Bernie earlier. I think he's enjoying some Tito's as we speak.
And that's fine.
And that's how he should be kicking it off this weekend.
And I did nothing all week, so
yeah,
I'm
so
ready
you're here.
to go.
Yeah. This is, and I never get enough words.
There you go.
So I'll take more. All right, we got a lot to do, man. So we've done a lot. I know you and I have texted. We've talked. So you didn't hear the shows, but I've kind of laid you in on what we did, right? Like Monday, Nate Gatter and I, we talked a lot about the first part, the first tech. I know it's not the first half, I know, but I'm going to symbolically say first half, second half, just for simplicity's sake. First half, how we got some really good news. We found a couple of young stars in town. In a worst case scenario, you control Walker for 3 more years. Worst case scenario. Maybe longer. We ended up turning that into Tuesday being the Jordan Walker show after we stole the show in Philly.
Which was awesome.
Oh, it was so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
And that led to all the contract extension talks and what goes into all that. Wednesday, we were a little bit more about the Cardinals' options now, right? Buy, sell, do a little bit of both, just hold. Could you be creative? Yesterday, I did a little more, Matt, on, could they look at moves that we're not anticipating? Mostly I came to the conclusion probably not. And looking at would they move Palante? Probably not. But I think you listen.
Yeah.
But probably not. I would say it's much less likely. So today I think we can shift the focus to expectations from here on out. Who do we need to talk about needing more from? What parts of the team are the most important? Today, for example, on DGS, Dave asked Bernie a great question to close out our segment with him about what part of the team is he looking to kick it into gear, and he mentioned the bullpen. And I think he's got a great point. From the numbers perspective, it's not been great. It's been very inconsistent. You've got a lot of guys that have had blow-ups. In fact, he listed the 3 guys, Swanson, O'Brien, and I forget who else, maybe Stanek, who are like 3 of the list. Fangraphs carries a thing called a blow-up inning.
Right.
They are like 3 of the worst in the league with blow-ups. Most of the time, they're really good. But when they blow up, they blow up.
And that's why when they have those blow-ups, you get all the text messages on my post-game show. You get all the tweets out there.
Right.
DFA this guy, DFA that guy. And then I try to take a step back and say, look at the numbers. Look at who this guy is most of the time.
Right.
Yeah, he has a blow-up every once in a while, but he's been pretty darn good. And there's a bunch of guys like that for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think with relievers, the best metric to look at is simply what percentage of their games do they get the job done. If they're getting the job done 8 out of 10, they're fine.
I feel like you're stealing that from me. That's one of my big things.
No, we agree completely. We both agree on this because all it takes is a bad outing and your ERA jumps 3 runs.
Right. That's the first thing I look at with relief pitchers. How often are you get a scoreless inning?
Yeah.
How often is it 1 run or less? Something like that. If you're doing that a lot, then I don't care about the times you're giving up 9 runs. Because honestly, if you're a relief pitcher, there's actually not a big difference between giving up 4 runs and giving up 7 runs. Like,
a lot of times you're right.
You're losing the game for the team no matter what.
Yeah, a lot of times that is exactly right. We do have a move to talk about to start with, and it's not a major injury. I mean, it's a serious thing, but it's not like an arm injury. So Jojo Romero was placed on the injured list just a little while ago. The team made the announcement via text and on Twitter. So he's got appendicitis. So
hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't burst. Hopefully it was like under control. And assuming it is, it won't be long before he's back, but it's going to be a little bit of time because it is a surgery. I mean, you're going to have to heal up from incisions and things. And I know those things are better than they used to be, but still, your best lefty is now kind of out of the mix for a bit. For today, they've called up Scott Blewett from Memphis, and that means they needed a 40-man spot, and that means they designated Joel Pozo for assignment. So it doesn't mean that he's gone yet. They could trade him.
Yeah.
He could get released, but they've got a week now to kind of sort out the situation with Pozo. And Scott Blewett is, well, let's just put it this way. He is a very large man who throws hard. He's like 6'6", 240. He's a mid to upper 90s guy, but he's been a very inconsistent pitcher in the majors, although at times has been okay. There have been years where he's been pretty good, but not consistently. And he had a 5.18 ERA at Memphis at the time he was called up. He did have 63 strikeouts in 48 innings, which is good, but 62 hits in 48 innings is not so good for a 30-year-old guy in Memphis. So I wouldn't expect this to be a long-lasting move, personally.
It had also been reported during the break that he had elected to opt out of his contract.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals, Kevin, love to hold on to assets.
Yeah.
They love to hold on to assets.
Yep.
So I would think he probably did himself a favor when he opted out.
This was probably the opportunity that kept him in the organization because they say, all right, we'll just call you up because,
So if he doesn't opt out in that scenario, maybe they're looking at somebody else to be brought up. But when he basically threatens the opt-out, and I don't know if it went down this way or not.
Right.
But I do think it doesn't seem like a total coincidence that it was reported that he had opted out, and then 2 days later, he's on the big league roster.
I wouldn't assume this is a long-term move.
No,
I mean, it could be a day
not.
or two. It could be a while, but I mean, it depends on how he looks. But again, considering his minor league numbers and all that, I wouldn't anticipate it being a big move. But it's a guy that can be here today, and he's here today.
Yeah, 43 big league appearances between 2020 and 2025. Career major league ERA 4.21. Like you said, he had some good stretches. In Minnesota in 2024, a sub-2 ERA in 12 appearances. That was his best.
But I say, other than that, he's always been over 5.
Yeah.
That was his only really and by extended run, it was 12 games.
Yeah.
20 innings. So he has stuff, though. Like, he's a big guy that throws hard. Maybe they can, maneuver, massage, the stuff in the pitch mix to get something out of him. But again, we just want to point that out. That's not really a big move.
He looked good in spring, though.
That's the other thing. And again, he's a guy, when you see him on the mound, you're going to be like, who's this guy? Mm-hmm. Like, he's huge and he throws really hard. You're like, why isn't he better? That's what, every time I watch Scott Blewett, I'm like, why doesn't he get more guys out? Well, it's command. I mean, you're not commanding your pitches well enough. I don't know that the secondary stuff stands out enough. But anyway, that's the roster. And I think starting with the bullpen, I do think that that's a really good point that Bernie made, though, is like the bullpen ERA has been trending down. It's an issue. The starting rotation, I share as a concern with a lot of other people, but lately it has been better than it was. So I think at the moment the answer is the bullpen, but I do think the rotation's a potential concern. I do still think the bottom of the lineup can be a concern. But we'll start with just this, kind of your view. What are you tracking coming out? What's the part of the team that's going to have your interest the most here in this stretch leading up to the deadline?
Starting rotation.
Okay.
Because there's not a guy in the rotation who is either not struggling or you're not concerned about the sustainability of what they're doing. You look at everybody in the rotation. Maybe Dustin May is the one guy, but he's also the one guy who...
It's been rough lately.
It has been a little rough lately, and there's no guarantee that he's going to be on this team moving forward.
Yeah.
He's a guy who could easily get moved depending on where things are at. But Liberatore has been... 2 of his last 3 starts have been pretty good, but his body of work isn't very good. Kyle Leahy has surprisingly been really good here lately. Yeah. At the same time, the underlying numbers say he should not be as good as he is, and they're going to run to an innings crunch with him. They are very cognizant of the end.
Yeah.
So they may shut him down at some point. We don't know.
Depends, yeah.
I think they'll probably do what they did with Liberatore last year, where they take the foot off the pedal a little bit at some point.
As opposed to complete shutdown, just skip some starts here and there. Yeah.
McGreevy, as good as he's been, his numbers don't look like he's been a little bit lucky. The expected numbers are worse than the real ones. And then same thing with Palante. Look, when you are a pitch to contact guy, luck is a big part of your success, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. So, in terms of him having success, so I think there's it's a very volatile group.
Yeah, and what makes it interesting is, some of the people that could be moved are in those two groups, right? I mean, May could get moved. Guys like Stanek, although I don't think the appendicitis thing changes it for Romero, but maybe. I mean, we're only 17 days away from the deadline. I'm not sure exactly how long that recovery is, but it's got to be at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, like Lance McCullers Jr. was on the injury list.
Yeah,
he got straight to the Brewers. So
that's true. For something that's not an arm injury, I think teams will pass you. Yeah. It's a good point. All right, so we got a lot to do today. We're trying to get as much as this as we can. Obviously, the Cardinals are back tonight in Arizona. Sorry for the late night for you, buddy.
That's all right. First day back.
First day back. Yeah, you've had a break. Yeah. You're rested up and good to go. So we'll talk a little bit more about that series, and then, of course, the Angels next week, because you got a good ramp to get the second half started and hopefully take advantage of that. I do want to talk about some things on the offense that we can get into a little bit as well as we move forward, guys that we might need to see a little bit more from. And I'm going to include Herrera in that as we move this conversation. They need him to be more than he's been for about the last month. He's got some good characteristics. On base is great. They're going to need a little more pop. So we'll kind of go through the second half. If there are things that you're interested in, concerned about, and you want to drop them on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, feel free to do it. We'll mix it all up and keep on going until 6 o'clock on Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck, taxed. Your property, taxed. Everything you buy, taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett with Timberline Tree Care. I'm really excited to announce another reason why we should be taking care of your trees. Timberline is now the only tree care provider anywhere to offer full-spectrum tree maintenance programs that are fully guaranteed. Here's how it works. You call Timberline and an ISA-certified arborist will meet you at your home. We will develop a plan that includes soil testing and amendment, fertilization, any necessary pesticide applications, and annual inspections by an ISA-certified arborist. But here's the best part. Maintenance pruning of your tree is included in this plan. And in the unlikely event that your tree dies while under our care, we will remove it for free. All you have to do is call us and sign up for the plan. We will take care of literally everything from there. There's no obligation, and you can cancel at any time. For tree care that is guaranteed, call Timberline Professional Tree Care at 636-479-7475 or find out more at stltreecare.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report is a service of I-3 Broadband. If you're traveling west on 70, there's still some slow pockets from 61 out to about David Hochul Parkway right now. Westbound 64 is cleared out in the city. It's just a little slow approaching Prospect, ramping onto westbound 70. Eastbound 64 between Hanley and Big Bend, just a little busy. Westbound 44, west of Bulls to west of 141, there's just a slowdown there. Southbound 55 is clear. Eastbound 64 backed up. East of 157 to 159, and westbound 5570 is on the brakes, 255. About midway into 111, and then after that, you're back on track. Summer celebrations are here, and i3 Broadband keeps you connected. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today. Because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour on a Friday. Cardinals baseball coming up tonight. 8:40 start time in Arizona. Michael McGreevy and Merrill Kelly. That's a good matchup for the Cardinals. The Diamondbacks do not hit right-handed pitching well at all, which is a good advantage for the Cards in this series. I think they might be the worst team in the league against right-handed pitching, the Diamondbacks. And Merrill Kelly's not been good this year. So
it's interesting, though, because, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we were talking about how the All-Star break is going to be the opportunity to split out Liberatore and Leahy. And then Leahy goes on this run, and you no longer have to do it. Just shows the cycles of a baseball season and how something may seem really, really important at one moment and then ends up not being. So they put the emphasis more on being able to get Leahy an extended break here at the All-Star break, but those two guys are still right next to each other. Whereas if Leahy wouldn't have really improved, they would have been forced to split those guys up.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the offense for this second part of the season. Your top five are set. You're good. It's a good group. I think you need more out of Herrera personally, like as far as consistency of some power production, because you just don't have that much power. I mean, you have more than you've had in the past, thanks to Jordan Walker and J.J. Weatherholt. But and Burley's providing enough, right? He's going to be between 20 and 25 homers, it looks like, based on how he's tracking. Probably look like, 22, 23 on pace for right now, which is really good. But given what we've seen from Herrera in the past, and this is, I want to be clear, it's not a pound the table, make a demand kind of thing. It's just more of like, hey, for this team to be operating at the level it needs to be, you're going to need more. In the month of June, 726 OPS with no power, not great. And July's been worse. 614 OPS, again, no power. I think the power needs to come from him more often, and I think it will. I think he's some of the characteristics that you want to see are there. The bat speed's still there. He still makes good swing decisions. He's just not getting the ball in the air and pulling the ball in the air as much as he did last year. Yeah,
going into the season, I thought he might flirt with 30 home runs.
Yeah.
I thought that was his absolute, everything goes right ceiling type thing. But I thought he had the potential to be a 30 home run guy, because last year he hit 19 home runs in 107 games.
Right. So, and I was kind of hoping for 25 this year.
Right, and that would be right there. He's at 11, basically almost 2/3 of the way through the season now. And his launch angle, his average launch angle, just isn't very good.
Not compared to where it was.
Right.
And I know that, people hate hearing the words launch angle, but it matters when you're not a speed guy. Which we were talking off the air about Blaze Jordan. I talked about Blaze the other day, too, on the show. Like, when you're not a guy that runs very much, ball in play is not much better than no ball in play. Right? You got to provide some pop to get the most out of it. Now, Herrera provides on base. So that part's not slipped, and that part's elite. So in that way, it's not, again, it's why it's not a major worry. It's just like, hey, this lineup's going to be better and more productive if he can produce power at the level he did last year. So last year, he had 452 plate appearances and slugged 464. He's almost at that number now. He's at 423 plate appearances. So we're only 30 plate appearances different, but his slug is 74 points lower.
Right, 464 to 390 on
They
the
need
slug.
that to be up there a little bit higher.
837 to 771 on the OPS. So 60 or so point difference there.
Yeah.
This is, people don't want to hear about launch angle. Well, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the single thing. If you put more
His
air,
exit velo's down a little,
but I'm not overly worried.
It's
about
above
that.
league average.
Yeah, and that probably fixes itself too.
Yeah.
With the other, if he can just hit the ball in the air a little bit more, that's going to be the difference in the doubles and the home runs.
Yeah.
And we got a message that comes in from Brian that says the ground ball rate from Yvonne has been really surprising. Ground ball rate is basically the opposite of launch angle. Like, if you're pounding into the ground, that's connected to how it's coming off the bat.
Yeah, and actually one of the other things that's interesting for him this year is his ground ball rate is up, but not that much. But he's popping the ball up a lot more, like almost 50% more often. It's not a huge difference, right? Last year he popped the ball up 6.8% of the time, and now it's 10. That's not like, it doesn't sound like a big number, but on a percentage basis, that's a big change.
Yeah.
So basically the point here is he's missing the hard contact that he was making last year. I think it's there. There's no real big physical decline. I do think maybe catching more is impacting this. And then that gets back to that question. if the catching more diminishes the offense, then is it worth it? Because his numbers defensively are awful. He's the worst throwing catcher in the sport. His blocking numbers right now are below average. He's in the bottom third of the league in blocking numbers. Framing's average. That's okay. His pitch calling's good. I think you agree, right? I mean, like what we've seen this year, he's done a nice job. I think he's been a big reason why Libertor's been better. I think he's handled McGreevy well. He's handled Palante well. I think Herrera's shown some progress there.
Yeah, the overall body of work behind the plate, even with the terrible throwing and the stuff you mentioned, the overall body of work defensively for him, I think, is significantly better this year than it was last year.
But does having him behind the plate potentially diminishing his offense balance that out? Because to me, it does. I need that bat. I don't have another bat. I have other good defensive catchers.
Yeah, if you can prove to me that
Well, what else changed?
He's
healthy. He's healthier now than he was last year.
Yeah. I think
if I look at, as an example, if I look at his bat speed last year was in the 83rd percentile, and this year the bat speed is in the 71st percentile. Now, is it a huge change? No, but it's the wrong direction.
You're not going to like this answer, Kevin, but I'll give it to you nonetheless. I just need to see it more than in a one-year thing because we see things change with guys from one year to the next
absolutely.
For no reason whatsoever.
You're right.
So, look,
but it's a legitimate concern because
I'm not dismissing what you're saying.
A lot of teams take bats like that and move them off the position for this reason.
Sure. I don't.
But he's not catching every day, so
I feel like I'm not adding much to this conversation because I'm leaving open the possibility that could be a thing, but I'm also not jumping into it.
Well, I'm also not saying this is the conclusion. I'm just wondering out loud if this is part of why the offense is down a bit.
Yeah.
Because it's the big thing that changed from last year is that he's catching a lot more. But, and again, I understand it completely. I told you at the beginning of the year, I don't think he's going to be good at it, but I'm okay with them doing it. Because this is the year to do it. But as we get deeper in the year, just strategically, does it make you better to not do it? Now, keeping in mind this, one of the arguments for doing that is even if it diminishes his offense a little bit on the days that he catches, you're adding another bat that's better than Crooks and Pages. But right now, who is that?
Sometimes it's Jose Fermin.
Well, this is my point, right? You're not getting that big upgrade. You're getting an upgrade, but it's not that big. So I'm wondering about that.
If Jimmy Crooks was hitting a little bit better, a lot of this would be
completely agree.
Yes.
Completely agree. And Pages, the reason he's not catching more is because of that.
But Crooks has not gotten the run that we thought he was going to get, and it's connected to things. They faced a lot of lefties.
Yep.
But also, if his bat was doing more, they'd get him in the lineup more.
It's also hard for a guy that's young to do more of the bat when you're playing twice a week. Which is why they don't call prospects up to do that.
Sure.
But you got to do it at some point, right? And hopefully Crooks will be able to earn those at-bats.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
At 5:30, this update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got some clouds. It's 89 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch right now. Missouri grassroots groups are holding Get Out the Vote rallies on Saturday ahead of the August 4th primary. They're pushing voters to reject Amendments 4 and 5. Amendment 4 would change how citizen ballot measures pass. Amendment 5 would shift the tax burden from income over to sales taxes. Rallies are in the city and in St. Charles. Proponents say the tax shift would make Missouri more competitive for business. Missouri State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says audits are intended to improve government accountability, regardless of who occupies an office or what party is in control. Fitzpatrick, a former Parson appointee, explains his approach to MissouriNet.
It's not about trying to make Governor Parson look bad. It's really just about making sure that regardless of who we're auditing, we are transparent, we treat everybody the same. It's really for the sole purpose of making government work better for the taxpayers.
Fitzpatrick says the audit of former Governor Parson's office found no criminal wrongdoing, but did identify record-keeping and policy concerns. Among the findings, auditors could not identify a specific state business purpose for 58 state-funded air flights that cost taxpayers more than $375,000. Code Blue is back for this upcoming winter after being funded by St. Louis City's budget. With it will also come some changes.
Adam Pearson, the director of the city's Health and Human Services Department, says new this year, they have enough time to put out a request for proposals and discuss with various departments how things can be done better to assist the unhoused during severe winter weather. Pearson says they're also taking proposals from service providers of all kinds.
We want your feedback. We want your input. We want to see your proposals. You know, if you want to offer large shelter services, that's great. Smaller shelter services, that's great.
Pearson says they're hosting a conference on Tuesday for those interested in discussing the RFPs before the August 10th deadline. The city dedicated $2 million to Code Blue this winter. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
No lack of things going on this weekend in St. Louis, including Maddie and Grand Center. Chris Hansen is the executive director of the Kransberg Arts Foundation.
Workshops and conference and panels all day on Friday and Saturday. Live art, music, poetry, dance. We have circus out there. You can go roller skating this year. Local business market, the Frizzy by Nature Business and Bloom Market. Great food trucks and tasting tents. So you can just come down, discover the neighborhood, check out all the great things.
He calls it a truly multicultural, multidisciplinary event. Some are free, others need a ticket. There is an all-access pass. Maddie is spread across Grand Center, both outside and inside. Hall of Fame broadcaster Joe Buck is packing his bags for the Rocky Mountains. He tells Fox 2 he's moving to Denver, the hometown of his wife Michelle. Marks a major life change for the play-by-play veteran who's called the Gateway City home since birth. Despite the change of scenery, Buck insists he won't be a stranger to St. Louis.
I'm a St. Louisan, and I'm going to be a St. Louisan living in Denver, but coming back to St. Louis a lot to see family and friends. And I think it'll be nourishing, to use a corny word, for my soul.
Heads up for drivers.
Well, 270 roadwork's going to impact drivers in Missouri and Illinois this weekend. Starting tonight at 8 p.m., they're going to have up to 3 lanes closed, north 270 at 64 for paving work. That'll run through 5 a.m. Monday morning. And tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., they're going to have westbound 270 from Route 3 to the Chain Rocks Bridge down to 1 lane. That'll last through Sunday night at 6 p.m. Roger Brand, KMOX News.
And from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk for tonight, we could have some spot evening storms. Otherwise, just clouds overnight, low 75. For tomorrow, the sun's in control. It's going to be hot and humid. No storms, high 93. Could see some pop storms on Sunday, high 93. Right now, it's 89 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate.
Make common sense conservative leadership common again.
Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports. And she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Aging control systems can increase downtime and cybersecurity risk, especially in operations that run 24/7. Graybar helps organizations evaluate automation architectures and support the right upgrades, whether through incremental updates or full system replacements. The result is better visibility, stronger reliability, and a scalable foundation ready for what's next. Yep, Graybar does that.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Taking care of your health shouldn't feel complicated. That's why we created NeoVitan to make nutrition easy. Our doctor-formulated vitamins are designed for real life and delivered straight to your door with our monthly subscription. No guesswork, no running out. Just clean, high-quality supplements manufactured in the USA using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Subscribe today at neovitan.com and take one simple step toward better daily nutrition. Visit neovitan.com and start making nutrition easy today.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, the traffic continues to improve. If you're headed around the area, there's not a whole lot to worry about right now. Westbound 70 is still slow, though, from about Wentzville Parkway out to David Hokel Parkway, and there's some heavy traffic both ways, just briefly through Forestell. Westbound 64, midway between Lakes and Eagles Boulevard and Prospect, is slow out to Highway 70 as well. Westbound 44, Bulls through the Merritt's overpass. There was a stall in the shoulder earlier. I think that's why we still have a slowdown. It's certainly not a jam. We have a backup southbound 170 from just south, let's call it Brentwood, down to 64, and eastbound 64 is on the brakes, 170 through Big Bend, almost to Bellevue. And Illinois drivers, you have the roadwork backup, eastbound 64 east at 157 to 159, and westbound 5570 is on the brakes, 255, about midway into 111. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's 5:40 in Mid-America. This time check being brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, it's Redbird Rush Hour on a Friday. Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you here. Bernie getting the Friday evening off. We worked him hard this week. Figure let him enjoy some Tito's and kick back and have a nice little dinner tonight.
What do you say, French vanilla ice cream from
Yeah,
Trader
he did.
Joe's?
Yeah. He's going to have some of that for the dessert side. He's got his evening planned out, and he deserves it. We'll get us all back together on Monday for the Three Amigos here on Redbird Rush Hour. Anything else on the offense that's on your mind? Because I think we share the same ideas on the pitching side. I have the same concerns you do about the rotation. The bullpen, I think we all seem to be on the same page. Mostly good, but some concerns. On the offensive side, outside of what we just talked about with Herrera, anything else that strikes you? Because, I'd like to see more from Mason Wynn. We're not seeing any offensive progress from him at all over these last couple years. It's just kind of the same, which, again, not the end of the world because he's a great defender, but he's hitting sixth. You need a six-hole guy to be a little bit more than a 645 OPS.
Yeah, he still goes through waves, and that's where I have such a hard time evaluating him because there's still that small voice in my head that says when he's performing well, it's when he's healthy.
Yeah.
And when he goes through these downturns, there's something going on that's impacting it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just who he is, that he's always going to be very streaky.
Yeah.
Look, Alec Burleson's been very streaky. He's not been
swinging. But his overall is just
his overall's
quality.
fine. Yeah. But in the month of July, Wynn's a 233 hitter with a 609 OPS, where in the month of June, his OPS was 100 points higher at 705. If he's a 700 OPS guy,
he's perfectly fine. I'm not even bringing this up.
Right. So if he's who he was in the month of June, perfect.
Yeah.
That's who you really want him to be. But he's only been that he's been that in 2 months this year. He was that in April.
Yeah.
He's 759 OPS, and in June, a 705 OPS, where you look at his May, it was 554. He had a bad May. I'm convinced he was banged up during that period.
He did have some time down. Yeah.
And then July, it's at 609. So it's a roller coaster with him.
But I think part of the problem is he just doesn't barrel anything, and the barrel is the combination of bat speed and launch angle, exit velo and launch angle. He's in the bottom 10%, and it's not like his bat speed's not good, which is surprising to me. I'm stunned by that because anybody that can throw 100 can rotate their body to generate force, but he can't do it at the plate, which tells me it's not necessarily physical, that it's more feel. Like he feels for contact rather than letting it rip. But then you look at it, like he doesn't chase. He draws his walks. Like he does some good things.
He feels like a driveline candidate to me.
I agree. I think I've always thought that there would be power with him, and that's not just because of his throwing ability. He had 15 home runs in 2024. That's a good number. If he's the 2024 guy, this is not even a conversation. I don't ever bring him up because he's perfectly good. But I think that's a thing. They're going to need more from Nathan Church. He's not been good in July. But it's again, July is a small sample size for everybody. It's only 10 days or whatever it was before the All-Star break. I think, Newt's been really good since being back. Again, the expected number's even better than the real ones. Stop me where you've heard that before with Newt.
But it wasn't that way last year.
No.
So he's kind of
last year
he's back to
normal. Yeah. And eventually those do level out, and he has elevated the lineup. His
They've
presence
never leveled out with him, though.
No. The numbers never have.
Yeah.
But he has definitely helped the lineup. Like him in the 5-hole really helps because it gives you a fifth guy that can drive in some runs. He can set the table for the guys behind. But then we're setting the table for Mason Wynn and Nathan Church right now, and there isn't much there, and you're not getting much out of third base. So again, this is all in the guise of not long term. If you're going to be capable of squeezing into a wild card, in my opinion, you need more 6, 7, 8, 9 offensively, and you're probably not getting it from Pages or Crooks.
Crooks, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
but we haven't seen it.
No,
yeah.
we have not seen it.
We've seen it in the minors, though, so
No.
hopefully it's there. But
And I like the fact that, Fermin's at third today.
Yeah.
I think he has earned more opportunities
agree.
than
He's
Blaze
been
Jordan
good.
at this point.
Yeah.
So continue to put him at third. Blaze just has not been a productive hitter here recently. And his defense has taken a step back as well, all at the same time. He has to hit to put him in. If he's going out there and he's a 750 to 800 OPS guy, then you're not worried about his defense.
No.
But if he's not that, well, then the defense all of a sudden becomes a thing.
Yeah, and this is not hate. And I mentioned this yesterday with Blaze, just bringing you up to date on it. Because it's not like I don't think that he should go down and Gorman should come back up. Gorman's had years to show it. I'm okay with giving Jordan the look, but we're just talking about it like a big guy who doesn't run well, hitting a lot of ground balls and making soft contact is not going to play.
No.
He needs to hit the ball over the fence.
And that's a position that you normally get more production from.
Right. And, he's slugging 280 in July. And that's just small sample size, 8 or 9 games for him. But that stretches back into mid-June as well, really since his first weekend. His first weekend, he was all over the place. Hit a bomb, hit a triple, and it really, there's been almost no extra base power since then. So again, this is why, and by the way, in July, Fermin's been way more powerful than Blaze Jordan, which to me means, all right, I'm going to play the better all-around player. If I'm playing a contact guy at third, well, Fermin moves better, right? Both on the bases and laterally laterally and vertically at the position at third base. He doesn't have as good an arm as Blaze Jordan does, but he moves more, does more, and he's providing significantly more power than the guy who supposedly has more power.
I agree with all that. It's rather remarkable to me, though, that the production from third base has just dropped in Major League Baseball.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're in a weird window.
Right now, among qualified third basemen in Major League Baseball, there's only 9 guys that have an OPS above 750.
Yeah, it's weird.
And
I do think it's a bit fluky because what it is some cases is guys like Manny Machado, Matt Chapman. There are a few like third basemen that are getting older that have declined that I think are bringing that down.
But Nolan Arenado has the 11th highest OPS among qualified third basemen in Major League Baseball.
And he hadn't been good.
No, that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Manny Machado is number 12. Arenado, Machado are right now. So 2 guys who are underperforming at a major spot are number 11 and number 12 in Major League Baseball in OPS and third baseman.
It's a tough position to fill right now, which may mean you got to get creative at some point. Somebody moves from somewhere else, and I don't mean just the Cardinals, just a lot of teams. All right, that's Matt Pauley. I'm Kevin Wheeler. We got one more segment left on Redbird Rush Hour coming up here on KMLX.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The wait is over. The displays are now open at the Reserve in West County, a prime location at Manchester and Highway 109. The Reserve is an outstanding community with serpentine streets, extensive trails, and our own neighborhood park with a pavilion, gazebos, playgrounds, and more. Come tour our popular Hamilton Ranch or our luxurious Turnberry story and a half. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We often hear the words retirement and annuity used in the same sentence, but it's important to know that not all annuities are the same. If you're not sure, it may be time for an annuity X-ray. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can review your annuity. Call Steve at 636-230-8824 and at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
We got a little bit of a backup right now on westbound 370 from Earth City out to the Discovery Bridge. Looks like there's a bumper-to-bumper, but it could be road work creating the delays there. Westbound 64, there's just a little slow traffic at Prospect. Eastbound 70 backed up, approaching Forestel. Westbound 70, David Hokel Parkway to Forestel slow. South 170 delays Brentwood to 64. Eastbound 64 heavy through the Innerbelt. Eastbound 64 on the Illinois side backed up midway between 157 and 159. Westbound 5570, 255 most of the way to 111. You're on the brakes through there as well. And if you're headed out west of Columbia, just be advised, westbound 70 is currently closed about midway between the city limits and the Missouri River Bridge out there because of a serious crash. Next update at 5:59 from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Anything else on the look ahead to the rest of the season? Or I don't know if you want to go that far, if we just want to go as far as the deadline that we haven't hit, that you've been thinking about during your week off of family time and sunshine and movies and chilling and getting back to normal for a little bit?
I think it's going to be fun to see how Jordan Walker comes off the All-Star experience.
I have a good feeling.
I do too.
I have a good feeling.
I think this is going to sound dumb, and that's fine. It's not the first time. I think him going through that high, because if there's been a criticism of Jordan Walker at times, like this year, not historically, but this year, one of the criticisms has been he doesn't come through in big moments. I thought him going on that run when the entire stadium, except for his mom, dad, and grandmother, were rooting for. Like him doing that in that moment, I'm not trying to make too much of glorified batting practice, which is what the home run derby is. But I thought that was really, really notable that he was able to do that in that spot. And I'm just excited to see what it looks like for him moving forward.
I agree. And look, you're right. The home run derby doesn't mean he's going to be better. The part about hitting the ball over the fence in batting practice is not the impressive part. It's the calm that he handled the whole scenario with.
Yeah.
He was just so chill. Nothing bothered him. The crowd didn't bother him. The cameras didn't bother him. The fact that he needed to hit 6 in a row didn't bother him. He just was cool and chill. Now, in fairness, the meaning of that outcome is much less than the meaning of the outcome of real games and a playoff race and all that. So hopefully it's just the continued sign that he has settled down as a major league player, because that's one of the things we've seen this year is there's some belief, there's calm, and he's sticking with his approach. And when things go bad, there's no panic where there seemed to be in the past. I think he's acknowledged that.
Yeah, and the thing with him hitting the ball so hard, when things are not going well for him, when all of a sudden he's hitting the ball on the ground, all of a sudden he's still hitting for average because he's hitting the ball so hard. Yeah. So you want to see, he has to hit home runs, he has to hit doubles for this team to probably go where it wants to go. But the fact that when he goes through slumps, he's still a 300 hitter, that's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, he's been super impressive. And again, I think the second half looks like he's just going to maintain. I'm not seeing like a big jump or anything. I mean, hard to jump from where he's been. But there's no sign of weirdness. There's no sign of any kind of concern with JJ. I mean, I'm sure he's just going to keep on rolling. You know, a little bit of a hot streak here, a little bit of a cold streak there, but I think his total numbers are going to keep on going. In fact, I would expect him to be even better in the second half.
I would too. Maybe at some point he runs into a little bit of a wall because he's never
Long
done
season.
162.
Yep.
And they should probably be cognizant of that. But outside of that, and I think the organization's pretty good about that. And we've seen JJ get a day here and a day there. They're a little bit more liberal with days off for Weatherholt than they are for most. Like Ivan Herrera just doesn't get days off. He just doesn't.
Well, I guess when you're but DHing you are in a day. It's a day off.
Yeah.
It's a day off from a physical standpoint, not a mental. Mental, you got to be prepared to hit. But physically, it's not the same as playing the field.
It takes less of a toll on
There's
your body.
There's a reason that's where all the old guys play.
But it's not a no toll on your body.
No, it's not zero.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less.
Especially when he gets hit as often as he does.
I know, dude. His guy's always getting smoked. Of course, Don't let anybody over there know that I said this, but some of it's his fault. In fact, most of it is his fault.
Weatherholt gets hit a ton too, though.
I know. When you're close to the plate and you dive into the plate, you're going to get hit. I mean, you're going to. When your momentum is going toward the ball, you're not going to change your momentum in 0.2 of a second.
And he's acknowledged that.
Of course he has.
Yeah.
The only people that haven't are people that get mad about it. He's not been mad about it. I'm sure he hates it, but
it hurts.
It does. It hurts, but then you could stop doing it, but then that would get into changing how productive you are. So don't worry about it. He's okay. They got body armor now.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the sports drink. These guys are all geared up, plastic everywhere. Sometimes you can't even tell if it hit a bat or if it hit an elbow pad. Going by the audio on TV anyway.
That game on Sunday was a good example of that.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Have a good show. Sports Open Line. Next, you got a 10-second tease?
A lot of baseball.
A lot of baseball?
Yeah.
Leading into baseball?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cardinals baseball and Sports Open Line coming up on KMOX.
If you're having a major project done at your house, it can be a long process. It can be kind of tedious or frustrating. And hopefully, though, when it's all done, you can stand back and look and think, oh my gosh, this is an incredible improvement. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, though, if you choose the wrong company. That's why I'm telling you that if you're thinking about a major project in your outdoor space, even a minor project, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. They only use the highest quality products. They have their own installation crews with years of experience. That is extremely important. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years, a quality company, and they offer value. They're not going to be your cheapest bid, but they're going to be the best, and it's going to last for years to come. So you can stand back and think, money well spent. They'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing if you mention me, Debbie Monterey. Stop by and visit them or visit them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It looks like we have a stall, or maybe it's a vehicle with a flat. Doesn't matter. It ends up being the same thing. It's blocking a traffic lane. That's westbound 370 at the Discovery Bridge. That's why we have a jam approaching 141 on westbound 370 right now. Westbound 70, kind of slow at the ramp onto ramping past 61 there. Eastbound 70, a little bit of a backup, almost midway in from Wright City to Forestdale. Don't forget, westbound 70 is currently closed midway between Columbia and the Missouri River out there in the Boonville area. It's a serious crash. They said it could be almost another 2 hours before they reopen westbound 70 lanes because of it. I also see a couple of backups. 44 is still a little slow through Merritt. And then you've got backup westbound 44 through the St. Clair Rest area and another one west of Bourbon. Roadwork possibility at the second one, I think. Westbound 5570, you've still got roadwork delays from 255 midway to 111, and eastbound 64 still delays approaching 159. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. Another 59 fires broke out today in Canada for a total of 888. Toronto's premier appealing for the U.S. to help as President Trump threatens Canada with sanctions for, quote, not maintaining their forests. ABC meteorologist Leslie Lopez sees relief from the worst of the wildfire smoke this weekend, but not for everyone.
We still have smoke moving into areas of Wisconsin, Michigan, and we're looking at hazardous air quality in these areas. That hazardous air quality is moving into Pennsylvania. We have that through New York and then moving down into areas closer towards North Carolina as well.
Michigan still has it the worst from parasitic infections linked to lettuce. Another 700 cases just since yesterday. The CDC says it is okay to eat bagged lettuce because it's not part of the bad batch. For a seventh straight day, the U.S. military is hitting Iran for $88 a barrel today. This is ABC News. An accomplished actress best known for her role in a Christmas classic has died.
Brenda Fricker appeared in more than 90 films and television shows over a 60-year career that included an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in My Left Foot. She was the first Irish actress to win an Oscar, but she was probably best known in this country for her role as the Pigeon Lady.
It's Christmas Eve. Good deeds count for extra tonight. They do? Of course they do.
Her role alongside Macaulay Culkin in the Christmas classic Home Alone 2. Brenda Fricker was 81. Ireland's deputy prime minister said the country's lost a national treasure. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says more than 2 feet of rain means rivers are still rising.
You got the Nueces River, the Sabinal River, the Frio River, Leona River. I would say, as of right now, of those four, the one river that remains the greatest danger to this community is the Nueces River.
Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
6:02, cloudy sky, 88 degrees downtown at the Arch. The search for a missing swimmer at Castlewood State Park ends in tragedy. Marine troopers pulled a 19-year-old man's body from the Merrimack River just after 12:30 this afternoon, 2 days after he went under. Missouri State Highway Patrol Sergeant Dallas Thompson says they are still officially piecing together what happened.
We will do a drowning report. We had a witness that was there and saw this occur, so we'll take his statements and, do our investigation, just kind of compare what we're seeing to make sure there was nothing else going on. At this point in time, we don't believe there was any kind of foul play or anything.
That stretch of the river is notorious for its deadly undercurrents. Thompson urges anybody looking to cool off this summer to stick with designated swimming streams and pools. Schnucks is closing its only company-operated warehouse, the one in Bridgeton that was at the center of a labor dispute a decade ago. The grocery chain announces the facility on Enterprise Way will shut down in March of next year, cutting 64 jobs. The closure is the last step in a transition that began in 2016 when Schnucks opened a big non-union distribution center in Kinloch, which triggered a nearly 300-day store boycott by the Teamsters, which ended with a settlement. Last year, Schnucks switched the contractor for that massive Kinloch facility to a new distribution company. Schnucks says in a statement it will work with union leaders on transition help for the Bridgeton workers. Schnucks declined our request for an interview. We called the Teamsters and have not heard back. The iconic mural that wraps around the Edison Brothers building is getting touched up with help from the original artist.
The Trompe-l'oeil mural wraps around the exterior of the hotel across from the Enterprise Center and is an iconic St. Louis landmark depicting the 1904 World's Fair. Sam Eastep with Midas Hospitality says they're excited to bring back the original team behind the mural, including Richard Haas, the original artist.
They're coming back to St. Louis to, re-stencil and, bringing all of the original drawings and stencils and knowledge and methodologies.
Haas turns 90 next month. The restoration is underway and is expected to take up to a year and a half, including the tuck pointing. The full exterior restoration is projected to cost $6 to $7 million. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Governor Kehoe is touting Missouri's role in the World Cup. He says the state invested more than $108 million in security and safety for the Kansas City matches. More than 80 law enforcement agencies from Missouri and 6 other states assisted with operations. Kehoe also used the tournament to pitch Missouri to foreign business and government leaders, meeting with ambassadors from Austria, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Argentina. When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tied the knot this month, St. Louis native Joe Buck found himself right in the middle of a star-studded crowd. The Monday Night Football announcer attended the highly secretive Madison Square Garden ceremony. Buck tells Fox 2 he was stunned he even got an invite, let alone the seating assignment.
I sat next to Scarlett Johansson, in front of Brad Pitt, behind Hugh Grant, and 3 rows behind Paul McCartney and Tom Hanks at the actual wedding.
A late-night lawnmower joyride in New Haven, Missouri ended with a police chase, an injured officer, and a barricade situation. Officers spotted Austin Reed Allen driving a stolen zero-turn mower down a city street just after midnight Thursday. No lights, a woman sitting on his lap, nearly crashing into parked cars. When they tried to stop him, he drove through yards and parking lots before hitting an officer with the mower and then fleeing into a nearby house. Franklin County deputies helped to get him out. Allen, who was on probation for a previous hit and run, told officers he ran because he had warrants. He's being held on a $20,000 cash-only bond. Roger Brand, seeing any incidents like that out on the roads this afternoon?
No, zero tolerance for zero-turn mowers. It sounds like, I guess. Yeah. No, it's not that bad. Well, not in that case, but we do have some trouble spots out there, Michael. To wrap it up, this traffic reports the service of Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. We have a stall that's in the right lane. Police are with it now. Westbound 70 at the Discovery Bridge. Traffic jammed west of the Mills out to that one. Eastbound 70 backed up about midway from Wright City to Forestell. If you're on the Illinois side, eastbound 64 still slow approaching 159. Westbound 55 70 a backup 255 midway into 111. Westbound 44 Bowles through Merritt's is still kind of busy. And there is a little bit of a backup around the St. Clair Rest area and west of Bourbon, a bigger jam there. And don't forget, westbound 70 is currently closed if you're headed to Kansas City, west of Columbia, about midway between the west side of Columbia and the Missouri River Bridge out there in Boonville. Due to a serious crash, it could be another 90-plus minutes before they can reopen the westbound 70 lanes there. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance wish everyone a safe and joyful summer. Proudly serving the community for generations. Happy 250th, America. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Once again, watching a couple of pop thunderstorms here and there, though the activity is kind of limited, but here and there until about 8 o'clock this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, warm and humid, 75. Saturday, sunny skies. It's hot and humid, 93. Saturday night, mostly clear, 75. Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid. Again, some pop thunderstorms possible the afternoon and evening on Sunday, 93 degrees. Monday and Tuesday, still hot, sunny and 95, but I still like the idea of some cooler temperatures Wednesday and Thursday of next week, about 86 for high temperatures. Right now, it looks like the Canadian wildfire smoke is going to stay away from us, but as we get into a northerly flow in the middle of next week, we'll have to keep an eye on it. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And at the moment, downtown at the Arch, we've got some clouds. It's 89 degrees. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name's Matt Pauley. Great to be with you. It's been a few days. Have not worked this week. Took a few days off for the All-Star break, but the All-Star break is over. The Cardinals are back in action tonight. They are opening up a series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, which means they're out west, late first pitches, and that means we've got Sports Open Line. We're going to have a bunch of Sports Open Lines for you today, and then they're in Anaheim next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday and Tuesday night games. So we'll either have full shows or almost full shows like we have tonight. So we'll be with you a lot. As always, if you want to chime in, multiple ways to get connected on the program. Call or text 314-436-7900. That's 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. And for those of you who are watching on the video stream, we welcome your comments during the program, and we'll try to get to some of those as we do go on through the night. An eventful last few days for all things Cardinals related. I have not been with you since the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game, so I want to talk about that a little bit. I know Nate took care of that for sure, and then Kevin on Redbird Rush Hour along with Nate. So I'm not just trying to repeat what you've already heard on the program, but I do want to put kind of a bow on all things All-Star break, Home Run Derby All-Star Game. And Joe Roderick's going to join us in about 10 minutes or so from STL Sports Central. He was in Philadelphia covering that and got to experience everything that took place. And man, I love the Home Run Derby this year. And I'm not a Home Run Derby guy. Like that's not an event that I'm generally super locked into. Like it's fun to have. It's one of those, like I'm married with kids. I'm not really a go out to a sports bar kind of guy at this point and at this stage of my life. But it was when I was in that stage of my life of just, barreling up to a bar and having a couple drinks and there being something on the TV. Like the Home Run Derby was the perfect type of event for that. It's aesthetically pleasing to watch what's going on. But that's kind of been the extent of it for me. And then I tuned in to the Home Run Derby. It was midway through Walker's first round. He was at like 6 or 7 home runs of his first round. I'd missed the Wilson Contreras run where I think he had the 13 in the first round. And I just wanted to see how it went. And he hit 13. He matched Wilson. At that point, I'm thinking, I was engaged with it. Okay, is he going to make it to the second round? What are these guys behind him going to do? And then lo and behold, nobody did it. So I'm still kind of locked in. I want to see what's going to happen now in his first matchup. And he's going second, and he gets to the 6, I think it was, just to advance, and he stops right there. And then you see what happens with Schwarber. It's like there's no chance. There's no chance that he does this, and then he does. And the way, like the story of that, I love when things are good stories. That's always been one of my things. I love the stories that exist out of sports. When interesting things happen in games that create a story, that's what I love about sports. And the way that whole Home Run Derby played out, just everything I just walked through, the story was awesome. And I was engaged. And when he hit the winning home run, like I'm sitting there with my wife on the couch, both our kids are in bed. She had said, "Hey, do you want to watch something else?" I'm like, "No, let's see how this thing ends here. Let's just definitely watch this." And she kind of got engaged in it a little bit. And I found myself, when he hit that last one, I jumped off the couch and I kind of screamed a little bit. I was happy for him. I was so happy for him. It was such an engaging thing. If I would not have had Jordan Walker to kind of be rooting for, if the story, like I think the way that played out made it incredibly compelling. If it wouldn't have played out in that kind of way, maybe it would have just felt like a home run derby, like many of them are. So I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been off the last few days, and this is where my mind goes to. I don't know how much of the great story of this year's Home Run Derby and the engagement in it was the fact that I had a vested interest in Jordan Walker versus just the narrative, the story, everything of how it went down with Walker was really, really interesting. But I was so happy for him. He comes from a great family. I was happy that his family was able to be put on the stage a little bit and be put in a spotlight. His personality came out. He's got a great personality. He's such a good guy. And that was shown on a national scale. And then even more the next day, he's out doing interviews. I saw that he did like the Pat McAfee show, things like that. More and more people know who Jordan Walker is. And that's great. And financially, I was happy for him. He wins $1 million. What, he makes $800 some odd $1,000. That's his and his career earnings is $5.3 million. I mean, he makes good money. Don't get me wrong. He's not wanting for anything, I would think. But when you make less than $1 million a year and your career earnings are at $5.3 million, adding $1 million to your back pocket, that's a considerable influx of total career earnings as opposed to somebody who's making $30 million per year. So I was happy for him that he got a little bit of a financial bonus as well. So really enjoyed that. The All-Star game was, the Riley O'Brien pitched a scoreless inning. That was good to see. The scary moment involving him with the hit by pitch, and luckily everybody was okay. And thought it was a cool story that he went and checked on him to make sure that he was okay after all of that, because that's the last thing you want to have happen in an All-Star game. But yeah, I thought it was a good few days, and now the Cardinals get to try to keep this thing going and try to avoid what happened last year. This year does not feel like last year, but the record is the same. And people who do not believe in the Cardinals will remind us of that over and over and over, that they had this same record last year at this point of the season, and we know what happened down the stretch where they really fell off and they were not contending for a playoff spot by the time the season came to an end. So the question is, can this version of the Cardinals, can they stay in it? Can they make Chaim Bloom's job more challenging at the deadline? That's what Cardinals fans should probably be rooting for at this point. If you want this team to be a playoff club, you want it to be something where it's not an obvious sell at the deadline. And if they can play good enough baseball here, and these next 3 games are important because there's a handful of teams that are right around the Cardinals that are kind of contending for that final wild card spot, and the Diamondbacks are right there. So if you can go into Arizona and if you can take the series, that can be impactful. That can be something that pays out dividends, not just at the deadline, but also by the time we get to the end of the season. But the Cardinals have to hold up their end of the bargain here. They have to continue to play good baseball for these type of conversations to continue. Here's what we've got coming up on the program today. As mentioned, Joe Roderick is going to join us here in about 5 minutes or so. Later on this hour, we will talk a little City SC soccer. They returned from the World Cup break last night. As you heard here on KMOX, they got a 3-2 win against Sporting KC. That was a good win. I wasn't watching that, and then I turned it on literally maybe 15 seconds before they went to the penalty kick that gave them the 3-2 win. That was the difference. When I turned the game on Apple, they were in the VAR, the video review, and they were just wrapping that up, and they upheld the penalty, and City got the penalty shot, and they were able to score. So that was good. That's really good to see them get a win coming out of their break. Also, we always like talking to Dan Reardon when it's major championship time in golf. He's going to join us at 7:05, talk about the latest in the Open Championship. That is all coming up. Don't go anywhere. Joe Roderick, he joins us next. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. So we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this late-night ad to make you more alert, which could help your driving. And science tells us that pulsing beats faster, stimulating audio like traveling sound, and voices on the higher, so-called brighter end of the audio spectrum like this can encourage focus. Also, a familiar tune can help, so...
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Your 401k, 403b, and IRA, it's a future tax time bomb. I'll help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Let's avoid all those taxes on your IRA or 401k. Get your retirement questions answered. Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX FM 104.1. And then see your tax time bomb at checkwithgary.com.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name's Matt Pauley, taking you for another hour, 15, hour 20. We'll get done just a little bit early and get out of here for Cardinals baseball. Cardinals Diamondbacks are opening up a series tonight, and the pitching matchup this evening as they come off the All-Star break. Michael McGreevy against Merrill Kelly. That's an interesting pitching matchup for sure. Generally, when we have Joe Roderick on, it's because there was a rain out and we needed to fill a show, and Joe's our guy to fill a show. And I say that, it almost sounds demeaning. He knows it's not. We love Joe. But also, he's our big event guy. He finds a way to cover just about every big event out there. That includes the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, and I kind of wanted to put a ribbon on everything that happened over the last few days, and nobody better to do that with than our good friend Joe Roderick, part of the team over at STL Sports Central. Hi, Joe.
Hi, that sounded so mean the way you said that.
You know it's not. You know we're good.
We absolutely are, and no, I know you take a break during All-Star Week, so I miss talking to you. But thankfully, Chris and Amy had me on a couple times.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Yeah,
that is good. So you were at both the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game, correct?
I was.
Okay. Just the thing for me about the Home Run Derby was the story of how it played out with, we didn't realize how impressive the first round was from Walker until after we saw everybody else after him, because Wilson had such a good first round, so it just kind of felt normal. And then he got through the second round so quickly and didn't even have to finish all his swings. And then you think he has no chance after being down so much after Schwarber's first round, just everything that happened. So it felt like an incredible story. As somebody who was in the building, did it build in that way, in the way that I'm describing it?
It did, and it was because of the Phillies fans. It was because of the fans in Philadelphia, which I said this. I said this on one of my shows. I said this to Chris and Amy. I've told multiple people this week. Top 3 crowd experience that I have ever been in my life. I mean, this is including World Baseball Classic, WWE events, like things like that. I'm putting the 2026 Home Run Derby up there as far as the crowd experience goes, because you're not going to find that kind of home field advantage anywhere except Philadelphia. And they had their 2 guys in it. And the first 6 guys, they're just watching. You're watching home runs. You're watching these mammoth shots off the bats of Wilson Contreras and Jordan Walker and Junior Caminero. And where I was, if you saw any of our videos on STL Sports Central, you saw the section that I was standing in for all of Jordan Walker's home runs. And when I went up there at first, I'm talking to security, and they're like, yeah, nobody's going to hit a baseball up here. And I said, no, Jordan Walker's going to hit a baseball up here. And then Wilson Contreras hit 2 baseballs up there. And the security guys were looking at me like, we've never seen this before. What are we in for tonight? And so when it got to the end and it got to the final 2 of the first round of Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, then the crowd starts getting into it and like, all right, these are our guys. We need our guys to get in. I'm happy. Like at that point, I'm happy because Jordan Walker was top 2 with those 2 left. Like I knew he was advancing to the next round. But then the crowd really got into it in the semifinals because they wanted to hate Wilson Contreras. And Wilson Contreras, like we love Wilson Contreras here in St. Louis, but he's a very easy guy to hate. Like he is very easy to look at and be the enemy and the villain, and he embraces that. And during that round, like Walker had already advanced to the finals, I was running around the entire stadium that whole night trying to get good shots, talk to people, get interviews, just everything that I was doing that night, that I had to sit down and charge my phone during Kyle Schwarber versus Wilson Contreras. I did not have a view of the field. I did not have a view of the screen. I knew what every single ball did that Wilson Contreras hit because the crowd was that electric that when they cheered, I was like, oh, that didn't make it out. When they booed, it was like, ooh, he hit another home run. Like, this is getting close. So it was so great. And it also, I think, helped by then because Jordan Walker knew what was coming. And he knew, like, okay, they don't hate me. They just don't like that I'm not one of their guys. And I think he had time to process that and appreciate what he was about to go up against in that final round.
It was funny watching it on TV because when you hear cheers, you always expect there to be something good that goes along with it. And even as I watched it, even as I knew they were cheering the failure, for lack of a better term, every single time that happened, Joe, I had to cognitively say to myself, okay, they're cheering because it didn't go out. It was a very odd thing to take in, and not a bad, like it added to it, to be perfectly honest, even from a at-home viewing standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, they knew that they had they knew their 2 guys were in it. It was 2 against 6, and the crowd was behind them. And I also think too, like in years past, in all-star games of the past, I would go around and I would try to find as many like Cardinal jerseys as I could. And at the World Baseball Classic, like I went around and I tried to find a representative from all 30 teams, things like that. I like to go around and try to do that to pass the time in the hour or whatever before the game actually starts. I really do think that this was the most hometown favorite like crowd that I have ever seen at an event like this. I think I saw 4 Cardinal jerseys, and I'm not expecting to see that many Cardinal jerseys, but I didn't see Dodgers jerseys or Yankees jerseys. It was just Philly after Philly after Philly, and the entire city showed up for that.
Were the 4 jerseys Jordan Walker's mom, Jordan Walker's dad, Yvonne Herrera, and Riley O'Brien?
I did see all of them. I did see all of them. I'm not counting them. Okay. Yvonne Herrera, his significant other was not wearing a jersey of his. But yeah, no, I saw 61 O'Brien jerseys, and I was like, hey, you guys are Riley's family. Nothing against Riley O'Brien. I just didn't think that would be a popular jersey to wear. That being said, on Tuesday, you definitely saw more Walker jerseys showing up. Like, people bought into Jordan Walker after what he did Monday night.
It's been really cool watching that part of it because very quickly he became the star of all. I don't think anybody who did anything in the All-Star, I know Cody Bellinger had a big hit, but there was no bigger, like, star is born moment than Jordan Walker through the entire All-Star experience.
And this was something that I was going back and forth with people that we work with at STL Sports Central. And I won't mention Brendan Schaefer by name, but he and I went back and forth about the significance of the home run derby. And I said weeks ago, like, Jordan Walker needs to be in this. And it wasn't because, hey, I want to see him hit home runs. I just feel like if you're going through this rebuild, if you're going through this transition, that you want to create stars. You want to create faces of the game. And J.J. Weatherholt's going to win Rookie of the Year, and I think J.J. Weatherholt is getting a lot of great publicity around Major League Baseball right now. I felt like Jordan Walker needed that as well. And to put him in there, you and I see what he does in batting practice. You and I have seen what he's done in spring training. He hits baseballs harder and further than anybody that we see. And I knew that if they put him on this national stage, he was going to do that. And I never thought he would win it. And I never had like 100% confidence that he was going to win it. I just knew that if you put him out there, that he was going to do things that were going to make people's jaws drop and go, wow, who's this guy? We need to find out more about Jordan Walker. And he went above and beyond that.
He did. He absolutely did. And I think for Cardinals fans, the actual All-Star game it became an afterthought. You did not see Walker get a hit in that game. Ivan Herrera didn't get a hit. You got a scoreless inning out of Riley O'Brien. Also, the scary situation with him, hitting Junior Caminero. This is one of the few times where I think for Cardinal fans, the home run derby felt like the spotlight event.
Yeah, and I think I think every fan base can probably say that about the All-Star game, and I don't think that it's in trouble by any means. No. I just think we've seen what the game has become. Pitching is just so good. And when you give these amazing pitchers with all this talent one inning to go out there and do that, they're going to go out there and shine. And it's going to come down to one guy that you've never heard of before hitting a home run. We saw that with Miguel Vargas on that day. And that wasn't the game-winning hit, but still – that's what you're going to get is just one moment of one of these guys running into a pitch and hitting it really far. And, that's just what the All-Star game has become. And it's because the talent of the pitching is just so, so good these days that it is what it is. But this All-Star game did lack as far as star power went, but again, it's still you still get to see the guys out there, and it's still awesome to see.
And they went back to their, them wearing the team jerseys, which adds to it. That's part of the fun of the All-Star game, I think.
Not only that, the ones that they made when they had them wearing the full team, like when they had them wearing their one-day only jersey, those things were so ugly.
They were.
The jerseys that they had in L.A. and Texas, they just didn't look good. So I'm really glad that they went back to the classic view of that, or the classic, picture of everybody in their jerseys. So that's the way it needs to be.
Joe Roderick, he is part of the team over at STL Sports Central, does a lot of their post-game shows, does a ton of stuff, and he's a very close friend of the program here at Sports Open Line. Joe, check the weather in Anaheim next week, and maybe we'll be talking again.
The Anaheim games don't get rained out. What are you talking about?
I know. Hey, we had a 2 hour and 44-minute rain delay on Friday, and somehow made it through last Friday, week ago Friday.
I stayed up for it. I had to do our post game show, as I'm sure you probably did too.
It was
like 1:30 in the morning by the time I finally was done. Yeah,
we were done at 1:45, so I think I had you beat by about 15 minutes.
Yeah, Arizona has a roof, so we don't have to worry about that. Just late start times, I guess, for this weekend.
That is very true. Joe, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, Matt.
All right, that's Joe Roderick. We, as I said, we appreciate him giving us some insight on what it was like Monday, this past Monday, for that event before the All-Star game on Tuesday. We are going to switch gears. We're going to talk some City SC. They got a nice win yesterday. Coming out of the World Cup break, they get a win against Sporting KC. We'll talk with our good friend Jen Cease, another friend of the program. She's with us in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. You're locked into a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
The thing that you need in the morning, when you first wake up.
Total Information AM.
I like to be informed with the news and like to know, like in the mornings, I like to know what's going on.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
It's always smart to know what's going on.
Your morning news and information.
The national and local news.
Weather.
Sports.
I like the traffic reports.
Total Information AM.
I listen to it in the mornings, so it really gets me going.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
We fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I've no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Petty 4 buttons are inch, prepare governance.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. This is a great time to schedule those tuck pointing repairs. When you're out in the yard or on your patio, take a look over your brick, your stone, and your mortar joints on your walls, your chimney, your walkways, and your retaining walls. If they need repair, Morelli Tuck Pointing would love to help. It's a good idea to do that home maintenance before leaks are created or rebuilding is necessary. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the brick chimneys, the walkways, and the walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and Morelli cleans the job site. Don't take my word for it. Check out their Google reviews. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award. 35 years in business and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Mirelli. Morelli, 314-645-1387 and MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Most sellers put their home on the market and they just wait to see what happens. Well, I'm Kevin Wheeler, and I'm here with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And Gloria, is there a better way to sell?
There is. Instead of listing your home the traditional way and hoping for the right buyer, I can get you up to 8 competitive cash offers right from the start. That means you're not guessing what your home might sell for. You're looking at the real offers and choosing the one that works the best for you. It also helps you to set the right price and create stronger demand if you decide to go to market. It gives you control, leverage, and a clear path forward before you accept just any offer. And remember, I'll guarantee to sell your home at 100% of the market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Before you sell your home, see what your options are. Call the one that I trust. That's Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It's a Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. We have about another hour or so with you, and then we'll jump into coverage of Cardinals of baseball. We've got we'll get back into the Cardinals coming up later on in the program. Have a couple other things to get into, including what was an eventful night last night for City SC, playing for the first time in about 5 weeks while they went on the World Cup break. They had a 2-0 lead against Sporting KC. They did not hold on to that lead. Next thing you knew, it was 2-2, but then they were able to get a win on a penalty kick late, and certainly an exciting night for sure. And we're happy to welcome on to the program part of the team here at KMOX, also part of the broadcast over on Y98. It is Jen Cease. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. That was fun last night. A lot happened in that game, and maybe if they would not have won the game, even if it would have finished in a tie, we'd have a very different feeling about the way it went down. But the fact that they were able to find a win when all is said and done made sort of the entire story and the entire path of that game pretty fun when you look back on it.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, it was so humid last night. It's not our hottest temperatures we had, but oh my gosh, the humidity, I think, for me was like, oh yeah, welcome back to playing in the summer. But yeah, good on the guys. It was not a pretty game. There were plenty of nice things to happen, but as Yohan DeMay said in the press conference afterwards, the consistency was not there. It is like starting over again. You're starting all over again. Whatever momentum you had is pretty much gone. You try to be a better version, of course, and then you stick it out there and see what does work and what doesn't. Now, I will do this. I will give Simon Betcher takes a lot of hits, especially when he doesn't score a goal as a number 9. But I got to give him a ton of credit last night. I don't know how Simon keeps working at his work rate that he does. He never stops being a pain in the other team's you-know-what. He pushes, and he really gets a lot of credit for kind of drawing that handball. It was his pressure on the defender. Of course, the defender makes the mistake, but it's his pressure that draws that. And, I love Edward Leuven for not only doing the penalty kick, but not doing the stutter step, which is a thing I hate in soccer.
Okay. A lot of things that you just said that I want to get into. First off,
let's go.
Why does Yohan DeMay always put a spotlight on the bad stuff after wins and the good stuff after losses?
I'm told it's because he's French. The French kind of, it was funny. Who said there is? It's Conrad Vollum. I said something to Conrad about, they're being really hard on you guys. And he's like, he's French. They have high standards. So I think it's just his kind of way of keeping everybody grounded and making sure that we know, and his staff and everybody knows. And they did this, by the way, with the guys as they kind of went away for the break. They did have some time for themselves. However, the message was very clear. Do not come in like you were before. Come back better. We have no time to get back in shape. We have things to do. He's got a lot of high standards. And to be fair, I'll give Yohan DeMay this. He won't paint a broad brushstroke over mistakes. He is happy to make sure that they know they have plenty to work on to achieve his level of consistency, which is high.
What was the schedule like during the break? How much time were they away? And then there had to be some reacclimation coming back to it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they had the equivalent of I don't know if they really fully had 2 weeks off, but they did have time to go away. People spent time with their families. Of course, the World Cup's going on. Some of them had to commiserate. I think the Germans on our team weren't doing so well for a while when Germany was bounced out. But they had some time away, and then they came back, and they had workout plans. They were supposed to keep a certain level of fitness, just like you do in any other sport. When you come back for college and D1, you should be coming back into fitness. So they came back with that, and then they did some pretty grueling days. They have long days where they start in the morning. They have video review. If I remember correctly from what Yohan told us, by this time, they have already had like 600 individual player coach sessions. So that staff works really hard, not only getting the team on the same page individually, or as a team, but also making sure that each individual has appropriate coaching to know where you need to improve with the game. So, yeah, they've been at it grinding. Depending on who you talk to, some of them have told me that they had 2-a-days. Other people said, nah, that's just Chris. he makes himself have two-a-days, but we really, have our typical workout schedule, which is starting approximately 11 o'clock in the morning, and they'll train through a pretty good part of the afternoon to make sure that they're acclimated to the heat, which, again, that was a tough one last night.
I'm not, trust me when I say this, I'm not being dismissive of the way they won, but a video review on a handball in the box is a fluky thing. That's not a normal thing to have happen. So if this weird fluky thing does not happen, that game likely ends 2-2 probably.
Well, and not just 2-2, Matt. Like,
maybe they lose. Yeah, maybe they
pushing,
lose. Yeah.
I would have been concerned on that one. Yep.
Okay, we're on the same wavelength on this. So should we be concerned about the fact that they were up 2-0 and they did not hold that lead?
Well, I will. Yes, the answer is yes. Of course, you have to not only hold that, you need to close that with a third backbreaker goal, and the opportunities were there. So we didn't do it. Of course, we have a little bit of a letdown. That's not a mistake you normally see Ben make, a pass out of the back. For everybody's edification, Roman Berkey has made that mistake before. Also, it doesn't happen very often. But under pressure, SKC was pushing, and under pressure, anything can happen. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned, one, but two, I watched that night as SKC, so Sporting Kansas City, more of those guys' legs were cramping then. And it wasn't just the fake, like, oh, I'm trying to waste time cramping. They were really going down cramping. And so I think that gives us a lot of edification on the staff, city staffs, the training staff, the performance staffs, keeping the guys up to speed. So I'm a little concerned in terms of the mental letdown. All the tactical and the physical, that stuff is there. It's that mental letdown. You can't let down. I've said it before. Everybody says it in soccer. 2-0 is a terrible lead. It is something that you get too comfortable with too fast.
Is this roster, like how much, during the 5 weeks, I'm watching on social media and I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the roster and potential changes and things like that. And there seemed to be some discontent from the social media side of things with where the roster is at.
Yeah.
How much could have that changed? How much will it still have the opportunity to change? Just kind of, I'm not super locked in on all of that, but I definitely saw the comments. So I'll kind of let you take this. I don't even know what the question should totally be, but just based off that criticism that's out there, what could maybe happen or what maybe should have happened?
Yeah, I think you're seeing it because we're also watching all the other clubs posting, right? So people have had that deal making, I think, is just like it is in any other sport. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens with relationships. It happens in those transfer windows. But you're right. It's been quiet, pretty quiet on St. Louis City's end. However, I will say we had Diego Gigliani as our halftime guest to really more talk to him about the World Cup, as he is Argentinian and he was raised in Spain. So he's going to have a divided heart on Sunday at the World Cup final. But he teased and said, just be on the lookout for more news. We think we've got more people coming in, and it's going to be really great, and we're excited about it. So, in other words, don't count us out just yet. So I think the action is a little bit late, especially as we're just closing down the World Cup and players are becoming available. But I don't think we're out just yet. And, of course, I'll just throw it right out there. Everybody's looking for something on the attacking part. We've got a ton of defense. It's nice to see Tomas Ostrak back in the lineup, Edward Lubin finding his place in this lineup. But, yeah, I'd be lying to say that St. Louis City fans are not excited about a potential new number 9 striker.
Okay, good to know. It was really cool to see Lubin have that moment last night.
Oh, and I just knew it. I'm like, Edward Lubin, I swear, I hope that you have not worked on the center step. You know that step I'm talking about, Matt, where they kind of run up to the ball and they pause.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't
it looks
stop your
dopey,
motion,
right? We could say it looks dopey.
I hate it.
Okay.
I really think it messes with the kicker more than it messes with the goalie. And we saw it, by the way. Kylian Mbappe is one of the world's greatest players. He should not miss a penalty kick because he does the center step and he jukes himself out. So I knew whenever Lubin stepped there, I'm like, this one's going to be just great. If he places it with precision, it's going to be hard. And he put it right in that lower corner. It was awesome to see him do that. And I don't know if anybody caught it. I think we might have. But when he got done, he kind of went over. They were in the south end, and he pointed up to the sky. He gave his other hand a kiss, and I'm sure that had a lot of meaning.
I'm sure it did. Last thing for you, just looking at this stretch, this is 3 games in 9 days.
Yes,
right?
sir.
That's coming off a break. Now, you mentioned their fitness, but that's a lot right out of the break, right?
That's right. So the blessing is, of course, as a player, there's only so much training you want to do. The glory comes in games. That's your payoff. So the players are going to get what they asked for, and that is play competition. Timo Baumgartel told us this week, like, I'm tired of just practicing for nothing. Let's go do games. But they are going to get them. So, yeah, now it becomes about, hopefully, well, other than Celio Pompeu out, I think, we should have Javier Orozco cut of the lineup last night. Everybody else should be healthy. Roman Berkey, as I understand it, is just more of getting back to a fitness level that he wants to be at. But City's going to need to dig into that roster, and Yohan DeMay, I think, is going to have to keep the idea of being in the structure that he wants, but also be flexible and finding the ways to make that work. You can't really plug and play players, but if Sang-Bin Jong has run a bunch the game before and he's not ready to do what he's able to do on the next game, what's your plan B? So there's going to be a lot of alternate plans as we do, again, what we were doing right before the break, and that is managing a lot of games in a small period of time.
Back at it Wednesday night on the road against the LA Galaxy. That's a 9:30 start. It'll be over on our sister station, Y98. And Jen Cease, as always, will be part of that broadcast. Jen, you are the best. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Very good. Jen Cease joining us on the program, talking through City SC. They get a good win last night as they knock off Sporting KC by a 3-2 win. Take a break, wrap up hour number 1 of the program. We're less than an hour out from our coverage of Cardinals baseball as they begin the post-All-Star break portion of the season. More in a moment right here on KMOX.
If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Taking care of yourself should fit into your life, not complicated. Neovitin Original Formula is a complete daily multivitamin designed to support your everyday wellness routine with essential vitamins, minerals, and a natural ingredient blend, all in just 2 daily tablets. Subscribe online at neovitin.com for monthly delivery or shop Neovitin at your local Schnucks and Dearborn. Neovitin Original Formula is physician formulated to fit easily into your everyday routine. All of our vitamins are manufactured in a certified GMP facility in the USA. Neovitin, make nutrition easy.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, bone cancer. Dr. Angela Herbie.
New pain that's persistent and unexplained, or any lump that's bigger than the size of a golf ball should raise concern and trigger someone to talk to their doctor. And if you notice a lump, this is especially true if that lump is starting to grow and change size quickly, as in over weeks.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Just a minute or so left on this first hour of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We won't have a full second hour because we are going to get into Cardinals baseball tonight. They are going to play this evening an 8:45 first pitch in Arizona. So we've got coverage begin. Did I get that right? Or is it 8? What? Our coverage starts at 7:45? Yeah, 7:45 is when our coverage gets started. So yeah, we'll have that for you right here on KMOX. Michael McGreevy against Merrill Kelly. One note: the Cardinals they've announced a few moves today. If you haven't been with us and following along, earlier in the afternoon, the team announced that JoJo Romero has been placed on the injured list with appendicitis. They have designated for assignment catcher Joel Pozo, and then Scott Blewett was selected from the Memphis roster. So he's now on the 40-man roster, and he'll be active on the Major League Active roster. And then just a short while later, they also announced that the player to be named in the Chris Roycroft deal with the Tampa Bay Rays has been now announced. No longer to be announced, but announced. And that would be pitcher Trey Puzer. He is a right-hander. This year, he has been splitting time, most recently playing high A ball in the Sally League, where he had a 6.11 ERA in 5 games. But before that, at low A, he had a 1.97 ERA in 11 games. We'll learn a little bit more about him here moving forward. We'll take a break. We'll be back after the 7 o'clock news here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Uber is reportedly pausing its ambitious European expansion plans for its Uber Eats food delivery business. The Financial Times reports that Uber has suspended market launches for Uber Eats in 5 of the 7 countries it had planned on for 2026, including Austria, Greece, and Norway. The report says Uber will instead focus on its recent openings in Denmark and Finland, which have gotten off to strong starts. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
If you're having a major project done at your house, it can be a long process. It can be kind of tedious or frustrating, and hopefully, though, when it's all done, you can stand back and look and think, oh my gosh, this is an incredible improvement. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, though, if you choose the wrong company. That's why I'm telling you that if you're thinking about a major project in your outdoor space, even a minor project, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. They only use the highest quality products. They have their own installation crews with years of experience. That is extremely important. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years, a quality company, and they offer value. They're not going to be your cheapest bid, but they're going to be the best, and it's going to last for years to come, so you can stand back and think, money well spent. They'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing if you mention me, Debbie Monterey. Stop by and visit them or visit them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. An Iranian news agency is reporting that 2 oil tankers exploded and caught fire while passing through the Mind route near Oman and the Strait of Hormuz. This after a 7th day of U.S. attacks on Iran, the reigniting of the war once again sending oil prices higher.
In total, a new estimate from Moody's Analytics finds that the typical American household has now spent $620 extra in gas, diesel, and jet fuel expenses in the nearly 5 months since the start of the Iran war.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. From the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic, wildfire smoke bringing a 3rd straight day of air quality alerts. Taylor Fresh Foods, a Taco Bell supplier, removing iceberg lettuce sourced from central Mexico from the U.S. market amid a severe stomach sickness across the country. The first death has been reported from a Legionnaire's outbreak in New York City. The city's health department says at least 67 people have been diagnosed and 12 remain hospitalized. This is ABC News. Clara Esther has died. When she was 20 years old, Esther rushed to the side of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. when he was shot in Memphis in 1968. Esther was 78. King aide and former UN Ambassador Andrew Young is believed to be the last surviving eyewitness to the shooting. Housing starts, also known as building permits, plummeted in May but picked back up in June.
Home builders have been reluctant to start new projects this year, knowing that home buyers are facing sky-high interest rates. Still, overall housing starts in June came in at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.42 million. That's 19% higher than in May. The same report from the Census Bureau hints at trouble ahead, though. Building permits last month fell by about 3% from the previous month.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Lots of companies are implementing artificial intelligence in the workplace. One that's not Major League Baseball. The league now restricting iPad use in dugouts to prevent AI from influencing decisions. The tablets otherwise have access to video and league-provided data. Dave Packer, ABC News.
At 7:02, we've got some sun clouds. It's 87 degrees downtown at the Arch. Search crews recovered a 19-year-old's body from the Merrimack River at about noon today, 2 days after he disappeared in the water. Investigators don't suspect foul play, calling the drowning a terrible accident that highlights the danger at Castlewood State Park. Highway Patrol Sergeant Dallas Thompson tells KMOX people constantly underestimate the water.
The Merrimack River in St. Louis County can be a very dangerous part of the river. There at Castlewood State Park, there's numerous signs posted throughout the park advising people to not swim in the area because it is dangerous.
Thompson says if you do ignore the signs and decide to get into the water, you have to wear a life jacket. 64 workers at Schnucks Bridgeton warehouse will be out of a job by next spring. The grocery chain announces it's closing the facility in March 2027 as it gets away from operating its own distribution centers. This completes a decade-long shift away from company-run distribution. The process started in 2016 when Schnucks opened a big warehouse in Kinloch using non-union contractors, and then the grocer went through a nearly 300-day boycott before settling with the Teamsters. The company says today it wants to focus on its growing fleet of stores throughout the Midwest. Schnucks declined an interview about this Sports with KMOX. We contacted the Teamsters but did not hear back. A traffic note to pass along.
Lane restrictions on 270 this weekend. I'm Roger Brand. Starting tonight at 8 p.m., they're going to have up to 3 lanes closed on North 270 at 64 for paving work. That'll remain in place through 5 a.m. Monday. And at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, they're going to have westbound 270 down to 1 lane between Route 3 and the Chain of Rocks Bridge for Illinois drivers, and that'll wrap up Sunday evening at 6 p.m.
The University of Missouri is moving toward commercial development on parts of its Columbia campus. After gathering ideas from developers, Mizzou says it's focused on student housing, hospitality, and mixed-use projects near the athletics facilities. Formal proposals from developers are expected to be sought by the end of the year. No lack of things going on this weekend in St. Louis, including Maddie in Grand Center. Chris Hansen is the executive director of the Kranzberg Arts Foundation.
Workshops and conference and panels all day on Friday and Saturday. Live art, music, poetry, dance. We have circus out there. You can go roller skating this year. Local business market, the Frizzy by Nature Business and Bloom Market. Great food trucks and tasting tents. So you can just come down, discover the neighborhood, check out all the great things.
The 26th Annual St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase kicks off tonight at the High Point Theater. Emmett Williams with Cinema St. Louis says nearly 70 films from local filmmakers will be shown between now and July 26th.
Our closing night film it's a new film called Gangland, and that stars Lou Diamond Phillips, and Lou Diamond Phillips will be in attendance.
Williams says the St. Louis film community is strong and making movies in every genre. Forecast overnight, some spot evening storms, otherwise just clouds, 75. For tomorrow, sunshine, hot, humid with a high of 93. Tomorrow night, 75. For Sunday, some pop afternoon storms, 93. And Sunday night, clear sky, low 74. Right now, downtown at the Arch, we've got some clouds. It's 87. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Back out as we get into our second hour of the program. It will not be a full hour because we've got Cardinals baseball tonight. So we're going to go about 40, 45 minutes or so here in hour number 2. And then we'll jump into our network coverage of the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks beginning the post-All-Star break portion of the year. Michael McGreevy against Merrill Kelly, the pitching matchup tonight. We'll jump back into our baseball talk coming up in just a while, but it is a major tournament weekend in golf, which means we always like to tap into our guy, KMOX golf editor. He is Dan Reardon, and he joins us right now via the Quiver River Electric guest line. Dan, always appreciate you taking some time with us today. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you for the invitation. It's sort of hard to realize that this is the last major of the year, and we're in mid-July.
Is that good for golf?
The players don't think so. The players think it's too tight of a schedule. But they can't move the PGA next year because they're in Texas, and you wouldn't go to Texas in August to play a championship. So it's going to be a while if they're going to change it. But no, the players think the majors are too tightly packed for their liking.
I'll be honest with you, like the Open Championship kind of snuck up on me because they always. What's the one they do last weekend over there? Is it the Scottish Open? Is that right? Do I have that right? Last weekend?
Yeah, that was the Scottish Open. In fact, the stat is the last, I think since 2010, whoever won the Open Championship played in the Scottish Open the week before.
Yeah, so I always know that if it's Scottish Open weekend, then that means the next weekend's the Open Championship. And Dan, to be perfectly honest with you, that when that was going down last weekend, it just caught it. I was like, oh wow, we're already at this point. So it's interesting that you say it that way because it does feel like it is kind of bunched together. The big story today is the 2-stroke penalty to Bryson DeChambeau, and this has a huge impact on where he is at in the leaderboard as it drops him all the way down to being tied for 5th. Can you kind of explain to our listeners what happened and whether or not you agree with the ruling from the R&A?
Well, I absolutely agree. I actually think it was a simple ruling in his case, but he walked off the course at 18 at 7 under par, pumped up because he knew he was playing in the final group on Saturday and actually playing with Lucas Herbert, and they're both from the LIV Tour, which would be sort of unheard of for the final 2 players in the Open Championship on Saturday to be from LIV. But on the 5th hole, he hit his tee shot into long grass, and on this course, long grass is knee-high. It's not very dense this week because of the heat, but it's knee-high. And when he walked in and he saw his ball, he began walking around, stomping down the grass behind his ball because, if he took a backswing, it was going to catch in that long grass perhaps. And he did that. He literally stomped the grass down, and then he walked over and looked at it from a different angle, came in and stomped it down one more time, and then he played his shot. Well, he improved his shot. I mean, there's no dispute that he made it easier for him because there was no chance at that point that the long grass was going to grab his club or interfere with his swing. And so he's actually sort of fortunate in this sense. He didn't come in and sign his card. They caught him coming off the green and said, we've got this problem. They were aware of the problem. You know, this goes back to Dustin Johnson at Oakmont in 2015, where do you tell the player during the round or you tell the player after the round? In the case of Dustin Johnson, it was the final round, and that was a really tough call. In this case, they just didn't want to disturb the player, cause any anxiety for him, so they caught him coming off. But if he had signed his card, he would have been disqualified if he didn't correct it within 15 minutes' time.
And he said in a statement on social media that he basically disagreed with it, but wanted to move on. I know he did not talk to reporters. It kind of sounds like he hid out for a little while where he was hitting some balls. He's an interesting guy in the first place, so I guess none of this should really surprise us.
Well, and it shouldn't surprise us that he didn't talk to reporters, because I can tell you, going back to the Masters, either before the tournament or during the tournament, Bryson has never spoken to the media up until including today. Now, he has an excuse today, but he has no excuses on those other occasions that he has stonewalled the media. He has talked to an official from the RNA after his round, or a video person, whatever it might be, but he has not met with the press this year on the PGA Tour. And I think that doesn't speak to a high level of character. I think he's probably wanting to avoid constant questions about LIV and its future. But it would have been interesting to see if he didn't get the two-stroke penalty, and he literally was final group going out on the third round of the Open Championship, if he would have stiffed the press one more time.
He's still in pretty good shape, though. I'm 5 under, 3 strokes back of the leader. This is not an insurmountable position for him to be in with 2 more rounds to go. And who knows, maybe this does motivate him a little. I don't know how much that plays out in golf, but the bottom line is it's not like this knocks him out.
And, you know, Matt, this is my approach to things, and other people may not do the same thing. When I look at the lead in a championship, I look at who the leader is and what's the likelihood of that person winning the championship. In the case of Lucas Herbert, I don't expect him to win the Open Championship. So to me, his 8 under is irrelevant to the lead. The 6s are very genuine threats to win this championship. So Bryson at 5, Scotty Scheffler at 4, even going back to Rory at 1, those guys are all within 5 shots of that 6-shot total. And so I think we're in a situation where, you know, a lot of players, particularly given this golf course was blown away today by the field. I mean, they just buried this golf course with birdies because they can hit it so far. You know, they had 111 players at the end of today's round who are averaging over 300 yards in driving distance because of the condition of the golf course and distance in the game. So, and the other thing, Matt, is we have this odd circumstance. The weather has been identical every day, and it will be tomorrow and Sunday, unless something really bizarre would come up. And what's happened every day is the morning groups have played 2 shots better than the afternoon groups. Well, what does that mean on Saturday? That means that you're going to have players who are on the course somewhat early, playing well before the leaders, who probably will make a move up the leaderboard. You know, Jackson Suber is the only guy that shot an electric round in the afternoon, which he did on Thursday. Other than that, they all come from the morning round. And when we get to Sunday, it'll be the same circumstance. So if you're sitting at level par, even par going into tomorrow, and you go off 5, 6, 7 groups ahead of the leaders, you have an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that the greens are a little moist from being watered overnight and the winds are down. The winds are going to come up at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're not severe winds, but they drive the course and make it play different. So I think we're in for a very interesting and entertaining, I would say, weekend because of so many possibilities because of the nature of the course and the nature of the weather.
2 guys had big moves in the leader, Herbert, who had an 8 under in round 2, and then Burns 8 under as well. How tough is it to repeat a fantastic day like that?
The general wisdom is it's hard to back up a good round with another good round. I just saw and I don't remember who the player was. It wasn't Scheffler. It might have been McIlroy. And they disagree with that. They think if you're playing in rhythm, it doesn't make any difference to you. And in the case of Burns, it's sort of interesting that, he shot 62 along with Lucas Herbert today. And in the case of Burns, he wasn't going to play in this tournament. His wife was expecting a child. He wasn't going to leave the country while she was still pregnant, but she had the child last week. And he even said then, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be with my family. I'm not going to the Open Championship. And the wife said, no, you're going. And so, he shoots 62 today, and he's very much a factor in this championship. But I tend to agree with what the point you brought up. I think it's hard to follow a good round with another great round because it seems like you're just not playing as well.
And maybe we're having a little bit of a different conversation if DeChambeau doesn't have is sitting 7 under and not 5 under, but it's another major championship where the top of the leaderboard doesn't have a lot of star power. Is there any comment that goes along with that, or is that just kind of where we're at right now in golf?
If we're talking about the first two names on the board, I would agree with you. We're talking about the fours. If you look at the fours are loaded with talent.
Yeah.
That's where Scheffler says, look in that group, we're loaded with talent. And if my theory is correct, if 6 is the genuine leader of this championship, then we don't have what we had at the PGA Championship, where we spent 2.5 days trying to figure out who are these guys. We don't have that kind of circumstance. But also remember at the PGA Championship on Friday, Alex Smalley was leader, and we discounted him like I just did with Lucas Herbert. And Alex Smalley went out on Sunday in the final group. So that can't happen. But I just think that this leaderboard, and given the nature of the golf course, its vulnerability, the fact that they know they can shoot at least 65 or better, means I think we're in for a really entertaining weekend. I don't particularly like the fact that the golf course is being pummeled the way it is, but it'll be entertaining. And I hope that Bryson stays in the mix because of all the people on that leaderboard. He is the most entertaining player to watch. I did something early in the week, and I said there's two kinds of players who are going to play this golf course, which is, like pavement right now. It's a brown. I said there's guys who are going to play it sensibly and lay up short of the bunkers in the fairway, and they're guys who are going to bomb the golf course, and they're going to say, I can fly all these bunkers, and I don't care because the grass is long enough. I saw a piece with Paul McGinley, and he said ball is not only is it not damaging to be in the rough, the ball is running out of the rough and back on the fairway. So Bryson is that kind of guy. If you want to contrast, Scheffler is the other kind of guy. Sam Burns is the other kind of guy. So you have bombers against guys that are course managers, and I think that makes for a very entertaining weekend.
Final thing for you, we're talking with Dan Reardon, our KMOX golf editor here, and it goes back to when we were talking about the DeChambeau thing earlier and LIV. It really does feel like that is starting to wind down, and I guess we'll see how much life it actually has left in it. But it's tumultuous right now still with that in existence. A legend like Phil Mickelson seemingly is persona non grata in many worlds of golf right now. Are we at least on a pathway towards some level of normalcy in this game again?
I think we certainly are. I know Bryson is rumored to be out trying to solicit funds. There's some suggestion that LIV may take a year off and come back another year later. And I think the LIV should be poaching those tour events that are going to be relegated down to mini tour events, basically, when they make the changes. But in the case of Bryson, to give you an idea what that means, Bryson DeChambeau could win the Open Championship. And the next time we would see him, it would be at Augusta. And that's not good for golf. I mean, that's just not good for golf.
Unless you watch a lot of the CW.
We're not going to see him until April of next year.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And hopefully they get some of this stuff figured out. It's a weird time for sure. Dan, enjoy the final two. Are you somebody who wakes up first thing in the morning to watch this thing?
No, because the guys that are playing at that time of the morning are not contenders. At this point in time, I'm interested in the guys in red numbers, and there's quite a few guys in red numbers. And I will say, though, that the nature of this golf course being browned out and burned out by the heat and the drought that they've had in that area makes it a different tournament to watch. Good thing for the players, they water the greens, because if the greens were firm like they normally are at an Open Championship, they wouldn't be anywhere near par with their scores at this point in time.
All right, so the guys who are 1 under are teeing off at, 5:25 in the morning. Will you be up for that?
I might be up for that.
Okay.
Rory's in that group, and I could get up for that.
All right, very, very good. Hey, Dan, really appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon.
Thank you, Matt.
Awesome. That's Dan Reardon joining us. Such a great resource that we have here at KMOX to be able to talk all things golf. And it's been interesting things going on in this event. And also golf also continues to be very interesting, more from the business side of things as well. Let's take a break. We've got more coming up in just a moment. We'll jump back into baseball as we get you ready for the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. They're opening up a 3-game series tonight. More in a moment right here on KMOX.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this late-night ad to make you more alert, which could help your driving. And science tells us that pulsing beats faster, stimulating audio like traveling sound, and voices on the higher,
so-called brighter end of the audio spectrum like this can encourage focus.
Also, a familiar tune can help, so...
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples. That was easy. Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Onyx, I keep having stomach issues. Please make me a doctor's appointment.
Okay, are you suffering from diarrhea, bloating, gas, or oily stools? If so, you may want to ask your doctor if it could actually be a problem with your pancreas, called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI.
My pancreas? How is EPI treated?
A prescription medicine like Creon, pancrelipase, is used to treat people who can't digest food normally because their pancreas doesn't make enough enzymes. Creon is the #1 prescribed treatment for EPI.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you are allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor, and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER. In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence, and the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Back in on KMOX, have you for about 20 more minutes as we are done at 7:40 tonight. Pre-game coverage of the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks, 7:45. If you're just now tuning in, can we call it a flurry? Is it a flurry? John Camp, the roster moves the Cardinals have made today. Is it enough to cross the line of a flurry of roster moves?
I would say it's a flurry.
Okay.
I mean, you had multiple moves made. I mean, how impactful you find them, that's up to you.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, the flurry is not impact. It's just a number.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going a flurry of roster moves. It is official. It has been deemed. Our official flurry moderator is John Camp, and he says it's a flurry, so we'll go flurry. Here is indeed flurry. Most times flurry has ever been said in 1 minute's time in the history of KMOX. We just made history. Jojo Romero has been placed on the injured list. He has appendicitis. Scott Blewett was selected from the Memphis roster. Now, that's a little bit interesting for those of you who follow along with all things minor league transactions. It was reported over the last couple days that Scott Blewett had an opt-out from his minor league deal, and he had opted out of his contract, which would have made him a free agent, and he could have gone and tried to find another job. He had a really solid spring for the Cardinals, so much so, if we were to go back in time, there was actually conversations that I was a part of on whether or not Scott Blewett was somebody that you wanted to make a 40-man roster move in front of opening day to get him onto the opening day roster. He was pretty impressive during spring training. He has not been as impressive for Memphis this year. The numbers have been so far. We'll give you his numbers at Memphis. He's 4-1, so that's good. 5.18 ERA, not great. 3.13 average against, not great. 48 2/3 innings, 63 strikeouts, that's good. 19 walks, not terrible. For a guy who's not known for really controlling, 19 walks and 48 2/3 innings, not the end of the world, especially for a relief pitcher. You can handle a few more walks from a reliever than a starter. But his whip is 1.66. That's high. That's because of a lot of the hits. But they needed somebody. And again, this keeps him in the organization because he had reportedly used his opt-out, and the Cardinals had the option to either let him walk away or put him on the major league roster. This doesn't seem like a long-term thing unless all of a sudden he's really, really good. And he has pitched in the big league before. This is not somebody who has no big league time. Doesn't have a ton. He made his major league debut in 2020, has pitched in the big leagues for Kansas City, Minnesota, Atlanta, and Baltimore. Has a 4-1 big league record with a 4.21 ERA over 43 major league appearances. That covers 72 2/3 innings. A 2.55 average against in the big leagues, 61 strikeouts and 72 2/3 innings, 32 walks. 32 walks is a little bit higher than you would like to see for sure. His best year came in 2024 when he was with Minnesota. 12 appearances, so not a ton, but he had a 1.77 ERA, 20 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts, 8 walks that year. So he is on the big league roster. Joel Pozo has been designated for assignment. So one of three things will happen with Pozo. They'll work out a deal to trade him to another organization, which could happen. I would think that there's an okay shot that there's going to be another team out there that would like to have a veteran catcher like Pozo and would be willing to put him on their 40-man roster. So the Cardinals could potentially trade him and get something in return. He could get claimed by another team, but no deal is worked out, or he could just become a free agent. But either way, or I guess he doesn't get claimed by any team. He comes off the 40-man roster and he stays in the organization as a non-40-man guy at AAA. I guess that's a possibility as well. I would bet there's a pretty good chance he ends up with another team, though. So you think about some of the really cool moments with Pozo and what he's done for this team and some of those clutch pinch hits he had and things like that. Like, he's somebody who's been a good Cardinal over the last couple of years, but the organization is just at a point now where there's not really space for him. They're outside of really a couple injuries occurring. He's probably not likely to get another big league opportunity. He is taking up a 40-man spot. There's a lot of reasons for that. And then the final move that was made, this was reported or announced about an hour and a half ago. The Cardinals, when they traded Chris Roycroft to the Tampa Bay Rays, it was for a player to be named. Well, that player is no longer to be named. He has been named. He is right-hand pitcher Trey Puzer. He was pitching at the high A level for the Rays. Wasn't having a ton of success there. Was at low A earlier in the year. Was having a lot more success there. So there are your moves. That is your flurry of moves that the Cardinals have made today. And that sets them up for what is the unofficial second half of the season. I'd be curious to know, generally speaking, what the level of excitement is for this team going into this period, because, you know, they finished off the pre-All-Star break portion of the year in a pretty good spot. They had the tough series against Milwaukee. They just haven't played well against Milwaukee this year. I meant to one of my All-Star break projects that I never got to was to look at their win percentage against every other team in baseball and like rank it from top to bottom, because they have success against good teams other than Milwaukee. Milwaukee seems to be the one top level team in Major League Baseball that they have a really, really hard time with for whatever reason, for lots of reasons. I was about to say for whatever reason. It's not for whatever reason. There are clear reasons for that. That's a really good Milwaukee team, and the way that roster is put together, Cardinals don't match up especially well with it. So now you go into the second half of the season, coming off them taking 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, and they played Atlanta twice in just over a week, and they took 2 out of 3 each time. And I think that makes you feel good about where this team is at, because Atlanta's a good team. Atlanta's the team right now that's leading the NL East. The Phillies are 2.5 games back of Atlanta. I think the proverbial gun to head, what do I choose if I have to choose an NL East winner right now? I think the Phillies likely catch the Braves. I think the Phillies are a better team than the Braves. But if the Braves hold on, if the Braves end up winning that division, that's not going to be a shocking thing to me. I just think the Phillies are a little bit better, and I think they can make up those 2.5 games here in the final 2.5 months of the season, and I think that is a likely thing to happen. Braves haven't been playing great baseball recently. They're likely to find it again. So if the Braves do fall back and fall into a wild card spot, to me it feels like you've got kind of a gaggle of teams competing for those, either the final wild card spot or the final 2 wild card spots. Right now, it really feels like the Cubs and Phillies, who are in those wild card spots, are kind of locked in to the playoffs. So the Phillies move into the top spot in the East. I'm not as confident about the Braves. The Cubs, I think, are in a pretty good spot. But we've also seen from Chicago their ability to just all of a sudden not have any way of winning games. We've seen them go into these really long periods where they just don't win games. And if they want to fall back a little bit, I'm not going to be mad about that. But you look at the Marlins, who are the current wild card, third wild card leader. You have the Cardinals, you have the Pirates, you have the Diamondbacks, you have the Padres, and then you have the Nationals. And those are the teams that are all within 4 games of a playoff spot in the National League. And I don't think any of those teams are significantly better than the Cardinals. You could sell me a little bit on the Padres if they played to their potential, but they haven't shown that all season long. And I don't have a ton of confidence that they are going to just turn it on here post All-Star. So I think the Cardinals have a really good chance if they just kind of keep doing what they've been doing, maybe find a little bit more of a gear somewhere in there. They could be in pretty good shape. But it starts with a huge series against the Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks and Cardinals are separated right now by 1.5 games. And we'll be looking at those wild card standings now on just about an everyday basis as this team does move forward. Now that we're past the All-Star break, we can do that. One more break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this program, and then we'll jump into Cardinals baseball. Cardinals Diamondbacks tonight on your home of the Cardinals. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
When Cardinals fans want to talk baseball, they turn to the Gas House Gang. Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring insights, analysis, and opinions that fuel the conversation. And every Tuesday, Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol pulls back the curtain on his decisions and his team's performance. The Gas House Gang is the sports show sports fans can't miss. Hear it weekdays at noon on your home for the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Save big money on your next project when you shop at Menards. Make your home more energy efficient with a new front door from Mastercraft. Building the highest quality doors in a variety of styles and finishes. Shop our wide in-stock selection. Or design your door your way, in-store or online. Save big on Mastercraft doors. Plus, view our weekly flyer on Menards.com to check out all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win. Like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later.
Sound familiar, Dale?
Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Today,
The Cards, the D-backs.
Ameren Total Access 745. First pitch 840.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
The All-Star break. People miss baseball. You get the Home Run Derby on Monday, which this year was certainly of interest to Cardinals fans. You get the actual game on Tuesday. And then you have to make it through Wednesday, and you have to make it through Thursday with no baseball, and it finally returns. And we can tell you that we are an hour and 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from Cardinals baseball being back as they're matched up against the Arizona Diamondbacks this evening, wrapping up this edition of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Cardinals have announced what the entire rotation looks like the first time through back. Tonight it is going to be Michael McGreevy who is going to make the start. They'll follow that up with Dustin May tomorrow, and then Andre Palante on Sunday. Kyle Leahy will go on Monday, and Matthew Liberatore is going to go on Tuesday. So that's kind of interesting just in the sense of things change pretty quickly, because it was maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month ago before Kyle Leahy really started to pitch better. And Leahy's been mostly solid here recently. We were looking at Leahy and Liberatore and watching those guys pitching on back-to-back days and just seeing the impact that that was having on the bullpen. We were talking about, do you find a way to get a Hunter Dobbins or a Bryson Motts on the roster when those guys are coming up, just to have somebody to cover the innings when they're not covering them, and having that back-to-back? And Oliver Marmol, I think it was on Gas House Gang, even was open to the idea that when the All-Star break got here, they could potentially use that as an opportunity to separate Leahy and Liberatore. Well, since then, Leahy's been really good, and there was no need for that to happen. Now we'll see if that ends up hurting them in some way, shape, or form before all is said and done, because some of the underlying numbers for Leahy, not great. Liberatore, you still don't feel super confident about, but it was about those guys being right next to each other in the rotation. But if Leahy would not have come back around here recently, they probably would have done something different, and then that would have not put them in position where they were set up with McGreevy, May, and Palante in this very important series against the Diamondbacks. So that can impact things. That's just another example of how things change and how that can certainly be a good thing for you. We've got Cardinals baseball. Our coverage begins in 5 minutes right here on KMOX.
Time for the Troxel Insurance Keys to the Game. I'm Chris Ranji, KMOX Sports. Cardinals have been one of the better defensive teams in baseball this year.